Fairy tales say monsters steal voices for power. But no one ever warned me what it feels like to lose one. They don't say how silence becomes a cage you can't break, how every scream dies inside your throat before you can release it. They don't say that when a cursed prince takes your voice, he also takes pieces of your past, your identity, your safety, your ability to beg, plead, or fight. No one told me that the night my voice disappeared was also the night fate began weaving me into a story far older than myself. A story of shadows and kingdoms. A story where silence is not weakness but prophecy. They don't tell girls like me that monsters can be heartbreakingly beautiful, that kings can be prisoners in their own bodies, that curses choose their victims with cruel accuracy, that love grows sharpest where fear once lived. But I learned it that night. The night my voice was stolen and a prince with ancient wounds looked at me as if he'd known me long before I ever knew him. The night destiny whispered, "Your silence will save my kingdom or doom it." Chapter 1. The storm found me before the wolves did. Wind lashed through the forest like a living creature, tearing branches from trees and flinging them into the air. Rain slapped my skin in icy bursts, soaking me to the bone as I ran. My heartbeat drowned out the thunder, loud, panicked, desperate. But the shadows were faster. Shadow wolves. I'd heard stories of them as a child, creatures born from curses and bound to serve whoever bore the mark of ancient magic. I never believed they were real until their glowing eyes appeared between the trees, hunting me with terrifying silence. I didn't even have time to scream. One leapt, a blur of black fur and smoke. Its weight slammed me into the mud. Claws pressed into my shoulder, but didn't break skin. It didn't want to kill me. It wanted to deliver me. The wolf bowed its head as though listening to something only it could hear, then nudged me forward like a herded animal. More shadows circled behind me. I stumbled to my feet and obeyed, not out of submission, but terror. The forest parted like something alive, giving way to a clearing bathed in lightning. And that's where I saw him, the cursed prince, or the creature who carried his title. He stood in the center of the clearing as if the storm revolved around him. Cloaked in obsidian armor, tall enough to dwarf the wolves at his feet, he looked carved from night itself. Lightning cracked across the sky, illuminating his face for a fleeting, devastating second. And what I saw wasn't monstrous. It was heartbreakingly human, beautiful even, with eyes like old gold, glowing with pain and power. I froze. The wolves shoved me forward. "Please," I whispered, my voice trembling. "Please don't hurt me." His hand moved faster than lightning. 2 fingers touched my throat. Magic ripped through me like freezing fire. My words died mid-breath. My voice, my sound, my everything vanished. Stolen clean from my body, as though it had never existed. I gasped, but no sound came out. Panic exploded in my chest. I clawed at my throat, desperate for even a whisper. He looked at me with something I couldn't decipher. Regret? Sorrow? And stepped back as if my silence wounded him more than the curse ever had. When he spoke, his voice was deep, fractured at the edges, as if 2 beings were speaking through one throat. "Your silence," he said, "will save my kingdom or doom it." My breath hitched noiselessly. I tried to speak, tried to beg, tried to ask why, but nothing came. The absence of sound broke my spirit in ways pain never could. He watched me struggle, jaw tight, as if fighting something unseen. Then he turned, cape whipping through the storm, and the shadow wolves forced me to follow. The forest swallowed us again. The storm faded behind us, and the obsidian castle rose ahead. It looked less like a home and more like a warning, towers of black stone stabbing the sky, windows glowing faintly with shifting shadows. Every part of it whispered danger and secrets and ancient magic that had long forgotten mercy. The wolves escorted me inside. Doors slammed shut. Bolts slid into place from the outside. A prisoner. A mute prisoner. They shoved me down a hallway lit with torches that flickered strangely, almost reacting to my presence. The air felt thick, charged, like the castle itself was aware of me. Watching me. My heart hammered in my silent chest. The cursed prince walked ahead without looking back. Every servant we passed bowed, not to him, but to the shadows trailing behind him as if they were the true royalty. The deeper we went, the darker the halls became. Cold air kissed my skin, sharp as breath from a crypt. My footsteps echoed softly, the only sound I could make. Finally, the prince stopped before a massive iron door, carved with symbols that looked like they were shifting.
He placed his palm against it.
The symbols glowed red. A monstrous scream erupted from behind the door. My body locked. The prince didn't flinch. Instead, he closed his eyes, as if the scream belonged to him, not the creature trapped inside. When the sound faded, he spoke without facing me. "You will stay here. Do not wander. Do not run. And if you hear screams..." Lightning flashed across the stone floor, revealing the strain in his jaw. "Do not try to save me."
Save him?
From what? From who? I couldn't ask. I couldn't speak. I couldn't breathe through the questions burning inside me. He turned at last, stepping closer than any sane man should to a terrified, voiceless captive. His gaze roamed my face, not cruelly, but searchingly, as though looking for something he'd lost long ago. "You should fear me," he said softly. "But you don't." Was that true? Or had the shock numbed my survival instincts? He brushed a knuckle along my jaw, so lightly it might have been accidental. His breath hitched, barely, as if the contact hurt. Then he stepped back, so quickly it felt like a door slamming shut. "Your voice is bound to my curse now," he murmured. "If you run, you die. If you leave, I fall." My stomach nodded.
Bound? How? Why?
What was I to him? He didn't give me time to think. With a wave of his hand, shadows coiled around my ankles like shackles, guiding me into a small chamber. The door slammed behind me, sealing me inside. I pressed my palms to the wood, silently pleading. But silence answered me back. Hours passed, minutes, days, I didn't know. Time blurred in terror and exhaustion. My throat ached constantly, as if something was still pulling from it. Then I heard it. Screams. Not human. Not animal. Something monstrous. Something breaking. Something inside the prince. I curled into myself, shaking, hands over my ears though it didn't help. The last thing I heard before the castle drowned in silence again was a howl so full of agony, rage, and loneliness that it cracked through the stone walls and lodged itself deep inside my chest. And I realized something horrifying. I wasn't just a prisoner. I was living in a castle with a monster. And the monster was my captor. And my silence was somehow his salvation. Chapter 2. The castle watches me. I feel it long before I understand it. The moment the guards shove open the narrow wooden door to my new chamber and the lock clicks behind them, the air thickens. The walls seem to tighten around me, like lungs exhaling slowly. Shadows crawl across the stone in ways shadows should not move. I press my back against the cold wall, swallowing panic that has nowhere to escape, because my voice cannot escape either. Silence is all I have now. Silence and the echo of those screams I heard last night, screams that carved jagged cracks into my mind. Screams that belong to the prince or the beast he becomes. I don't sleep. I don't close my eyes. I sit awake until dawn bleeds pale blue into the window slit high above the room. The storm from last night is gone, but its memory clings to me like a curse. When the door finally creaks open, I flinch violently. A servant stands there, young, tense, eyes wide as though I've grown a second head overnight. She avoids meeting my gaze as she sets a tray of food at my feet. Her voice trembles. "He says you are to eat."
He.
The prince. The cursed ruler who stole my voice and tied it to his own life. I want to ask her why. Why me? What curse? What prophecy? What doom I supposedly carry? But nothing leaves my mouth except an aching breath. The servant notices my silent struggle and bows her head quickly, as if ashamed of misfortune she didn't cause. "Forgive me," she whispers. "I wasn't told you lost your voice."
Lost.
As if I misplaced it. as if it wasn't ripped out of me by a prince whose touch felt like fate burning my skin. Before I can reach for her sleeve to ask more, she bolts, leaving me alone with a tray of bread, fruit, and a cup of water that reflects my hollow eyes. I force myself to eat, not because I'm hungry, but because fear demands strength. Hours pass before the lock clicks again. This time, the shadows retreat on their own, as if something more powerful approaches. The prince enters. He fills the doorway effortlessly, broad-shouldered and lethal, his black cloak brushing the floor. His golden eyes flick briefly toward the untouched food tray, then toward me. He doesn't speak. He simply watches me. And that is somehow worse. My pulse hammers painfully. I stand too quickly, wobbling slightly, and his jaw tightens as though he hates seeing my fear, yet refuses to soften. His gaze drags over the room, then returns to me with unsettling intensity. "You will not remain here forever," he finally says. "But for now, you must learn the castle." Learn?
Why?
I want to ask. But my silence stretches between us like a living thing. Something flickers behind his eyes, guilt, perhaps, but he hides it quickly. "Come." He turns without waiting for me. I follow, because I have no other choice. The hallways are narrow at first, lined with stone that ripples like water when I pass. Torches flare to life on their own, lighting my path. The prince never looks back to check if I'm coming, yet the shadows behind me nudge me forward whenever I slow. They want me moving. They want me alive. A chilling thought. We reach a wider corridor, one filled with tall windows draped in black fabric. Strange symbols are carved into the walls, marks that throb softly, with the same gold glow that lives in his eyes. What is this place? I want to whisper, but even if I had my voice, I'm not sure I would dare interrupt the silence heavy around us. The prince walks in silence, but his shoulders stiffen each time we pass a window. He moves as if he expects an attack at any moment, from outside or within. The castle's heartbeat matches his tension. Finally, we enter a grand hall. Massive pillars rise like twisted trees. Chandeliers drip dark crystals. Long velvet banners fall from the ceiling, painted with an emblem I don't recognize, a wolf wrapped in chains, its head thrown back in a silent howl. My steps falter. The prince notices. His gaze sharpens. "Keep walking." I obey. We stop at a long dining table where servants scatter like frightened birds the moment his shadow touches them. Only one remains, a woman with sharp eyes and nervous hands. She bows deeply. "Your Majesty, everything is prepared."
Prepared?
For what? The prince gestures to the chair beside his own. "Sit." My legs carry me before fear can root me in place. I sit stiffly, hands folded in my lap, heart thudding against my ribs like a trapped creature desperate to break free. He lowers himself into his seat, movements controlled, too controlled, like a man constantly restraining something deadly inside. He does not touch the food. He only watches me. "Eat," he says quietly. Sparks shiver along my spine. I pick up the fork, the metal shaking in my grasp. Every time I raise it to my lips, his eyes follow the path, hungry, but not for the food. Hungry for something else. Something I cannot name. Halfway through the meal, his hand twitches. A faint scraping sound fills the hall. His claws, yes, claws, begin to extend from his fingers, sharp and black. He notices at the same time I do. Anger or fear, I can't tell which, flickers through his gaze. He clenches his fist, hiding the claws from view. "I shouldn't be near you this long," he mutters under his breath, barely audible. My fork slips from my fingers and clatters against the plate. He flinches. The sound hurt him, or the silence that followed did. I don't know. He stands abruptly, turning his face away as shadows coil around his shoulders. "You should stay in your rooms. The curse is restless around you." I want to scream questions, demand answers, beg him to explain, but the agony in my throat steals even the illusion of sound. He faces me again, expression unreadable, voice low and strained. "Do not fear me." That is the moment I know he is lying. He fears himself. And he fears what he will become if I stay too close, too long, too often. He leaves the hall before I can rise. Servants scatter with him gone, whispering in frantic fragments. She's the silent one. Is she the sacrifice? No, the prophecy says. The prince must steal a voice. Why hers? I step into the corridor, their whispers following me like ghosts. As I wander, the castle shifts. Torches dim when I pass. Floors groan beneath my feet. Shadows whisper. Not words exactly, but echoes. Pieces of sound with no source. A faint hiss unfurls behind my ear. Welcome. I spin around, nothing. A swirl of black smoke vanishes behind a pillar. My breath comes fast, shallow, silent. No matter how far I walk, every hallway feels alive. Watching. Breathing with me. Listening to the silence lodged in my chest. By nightfall, I find myself near a balcony overlooking the courtyard. The moonlight spills in, washing the stone floor in pale silver. A howl splits the air. Not human. Not wolf. Something in between. My blood goes cold. I shouldn't move. I shouldn't look. I shouldn't breathe. But curiosity, fear's dangerous cousin, pulls me to the balcony railing. Below, guards scatter. Shadows expand. And there, half hidden beneath the archway, I see him. The prince. Except he isn't a prince right now. His body contorts, spine arching, muscles tearing and reforming under the moon's light. Golden eyes blaze with pain, splitting open like two suns trapped inside darkness.
He shifts.
Not into a wolf. Not into anything I've ever seen. Something monstrous. Something cursed. Something bound to ancient magic. At the end of it, a massive wolf-like creature collapses on all fours, breathing raggedly, claws digging furrows into the stone. My breath stops. He lifts his head. He scents the air. He should kill anything he detects. But instead, he limps toward the castle. Toward my tower. My knees buckle. He disappears into the shadows near my door. Not trying to break in. Not trying to attack.
Guarding me.
The cursed prince, the beast, my captor, the man who stole my voice, is curled outside my room like a wounded guardian. My heart cracks open with a mixture of terror and something I refuse to name. When dawn comes, I find deep claw marks carved along my doorframe. Proof he stayed all night, protecting me from something worse. Something even he fears. And for the first time, I realize I am involved in a story much older than myself. A story written in shadows and blood. A story where a prince hides a monster, and a monster hides a man dreading the night because it reveals the truth of what he is. And the worst part? He looks at me like I'm the only silence he's ever wanted. If you're enjoying this story, please subscribe to my channel. Your support helps me continue creating these long, cinematic fantasy episodes for you. Hit subscribe, drop a comment, and stay tuned for Chapter 3. It only gets darker, deeper, and more romantic from here. Chapter 3. I wake to trembling stone. Not the soft trembling of distant footsteps, or the rumble of carts in the courtyard, but something deeper. Something alive. The castle vibrates through the floorboards, humming beneath my skin like the echo of a heartbeat too large to belong to any human. It takes me a moment to realize what it means. The prince is awake. The beast is gone. Morning has returned, and with it, the man who stole my voice. Colors sharpen around me, pulling me fully into reality. Last night's memories crash over me like a tidal wave, his body twisting beneath the moon, the tortured howl, the way he collapsed outside my room as though guarding me were a duty etched into his bones. Truth settles into my chest like a stone dropped into water. He is cursed. And somehow my silence soothes it.
Why?
What am I to him? I press a hand to my throat, feeling the dull ache beneath the skin. My missing voice feels like a missing limb, phantom pain, phantom presence, a hollow space where something vital used to live. A soft knock interrupts my spiraling thoughts. The door creaks open. He enters. Not the beast from last night. Not the silent, agonized creature curled outside my chamber. But the prince,
Tall.
regal,
Cold.
a man carved from ruin and power. He looks human now, but not harmless. Never harmless. His eyes glow faintly, gold threaded with ember, as if the beast still breathes behind them. For a long, unbearable moment, he simply stands there, studying me. His gaze is unreadable. Not cruel, not kind. Something between storm and sorrow. "You didn't sleep," he murmurs quietly. My breath catches. His voice, the man's voice, is smoother than the beast's, but still heavy, as if carrying centuries of exhaustion. "I felt you awake," he adds. "Felt me?" My heart thuds painfully. I want to ask how, why, what binds us, but nothing comes from my throat except silence. He drags in a slow breath. "You should not have seen me last night." He steps further inside, closing the door behind him. The room darkens by several shades, even though the sunlight hasn't shifted. "You were not meant to witness the curse in that form." A muscle in his jaw ticks. It is dangerous. Dangerous for him? Or for me? He takes a step closer. My pulse skitters. He stops only a few feet away, close enough for me to feel the heat radiating off his body and the barely controlled force beneath his skin, like a dam straining under too much pressure. "I told you not to wander at night." His tone sharpens, not angry, but strained, as though restraint itself hurts him. I want to write in the air, gesture something, anything, but no movement could ever explain what I want to say. "I saw you in pain." I couldn't turn away. He must see the thought in my eyes, because something flickers behind his expression, something he tries and fails to hide. Regret. Guilt. Longing. He looks away first. "As long as the curse remains unbroken," he says, voice tight, "I cannot promise your safety." My safety. The irony coils in my stomach like a serpent. He stole my voice. He imprisoned me. He bound my life to his own. And now he worries for my safety? He moves past me, steps slow, deliberate. When he speaks again, his voice is softer, fraying at the edges. I am not always myself. His hand brushes the dark wood of the wall, fingertips trailing the runes carved into the stone. The symbols glow faintly beneath his touch, like the castle itself bends to him. Or maybe to the monster within him. He turns to me then, and his eyes lock onto mine with startling intensity. "You should fear me." The words echo in the silent room. But my body doesn't respond with fear. Not the way he expects. Instead, something else rises. A curiosity sharp enough to cut through terror. Why do I not fear him the way others do? Why does he look at me as though the answer matters? I want to speak. I want to scream. I want to demand the truth. But I can't. And the prince, this cursed, tormented man, knows it. His expression twists with something painful. "Your silence unsettles me." Unsettles. Not annoys. Not angers. Unsettles. He steps closer again, as if drawn by a force he has no power against. "Do you know what they call you?" His voice lowers to a near whisper. "The Silent One." Silent One. A title meant for ritual sacrifices and ancient prophecies, not a girl dragged from her forest in the middle of a storm. He circles me slowly, like a predator unsure whether to attack or worship. "Your silence calms the beast." He pauses behind me, and it threatens the man. My breath stutters. His fingers ghost down my arm, light enough to be accidental, intense enough not to be. "You look at me," he murmurs at my ear, "and I do not know who you see." The monster? His breath warms my skin. The king? His voice softens. Or the man who is neither? I tremble, not from fear, but from the weight of his attention. It fills the room, the air, my lungs. My knees weaken. I turn to face him. His eyes darken, flickering with the same emotion I sensed last night in the beast, a longing so sharp it could cut the world open. He inhales sharply. "Don't," he whispers. "Don't what?" "Don't look at him? Don't tempt him? Don't see him?" The castle pulses around us, the shadows tightening like a heartbeat. He steps back abruptly, tearing himself from whatever force pulled him toward me. You will learn to communicate with me, he says, voice rough as stone scraping. Gestures. Signals. Something safer than words.
Safer.
For whom? He reaches for my wrist. I tense, but he handles my arm with surprising gentleness, guiding my hand upward. Open palm means yes. He spreads my fingers. Closed fist means no. He curls my hand into a loose fist. 2 taps on your heart. He touches his own chest, gaze darkening. Means you're afraid. I swallow hard. 3 taps. His voice lowers, trembling on the edge of something dangerous. Means you're in pain.
Pain.
My throat burns. He sees it. Guilt flashes across his face. Fast, fierce, unbearable. He steps back as if distance will save us. I will teach you more later, he says. When I am stronger. Stronger? I want to ask what weakens you. What strengthens you? What am I to you? But all that escapes me is silence. He studies me one last time, long, searching, torn. Then he leaves. The door closes with a soft click, but his presence lingers like a ghost pressed against my skin. Hours later, a knock startles me. A servant enters, a small, trembling man with gray hair and ink-stained fingers. He bows nervously. His Majesty requests, you come to the library. Library?
Why?
I follow him through winding halls. The castle shifts, guiding us into a tall chamber filled with shelves stretching into darkness. Dust motes swirl in golden light. Books line every surface. And the prince stands at the center, not as a king, not as a monster, but as himself. His eyes lift when I enter. Something softens, a fracture in his armor. He gestures to a long table strewn with papers. We will practice. Not speech. Communication. He shows me signals, expressions, silent language built from necessity and desperation. It's awkward at first, painfully so. My gestures are clumsy. His explanations are frustrated. But slowly something shifts. He stops speaking in commands. He starts speaking like a man, like someone who has forgotten how to be gentle but is trying anyway. He steps closer, correcting the angle of my hand. His fingers brush mine.
Warm.
Firm.
Steady.
A shock of something electric shoots through me, and he pulls away too quickly, as if burned. Again, he says, voice too tight. We repeat the movements, over and over, until silence becomes its own kind of conversation. At one point, frustration wells in my chest. My throat aches with the urge to speak, to scream, to demand he give me back the part of me he stole. The prince sees it. He steps closer, too close, and whispers, if I give your voice back, I lose my soul. The room freezes. The air shatters around us. My breath catches. He looks at me with eyes full of ruin. That is the curse. His voice breaks. If your voice returns, the beast takes everything. I stagger back. The truth hits me like a blow. My silence is his life. My voice is his death. He watches my horror unfold and whispers, almost to himself, I never wanted this. You must believe me. His confession hangs in the air between us, raw, vulnerable, unguarded. I don't move. I don't breathe. He steps forward, face inches from mine, voice low enough to be a plea. I do not want you to fear me. But fear is no longer the only thing trembling inside me. There is something else. Something far more dangerous. Something that feels like the beginning of destiny. His gaze drops to my lips. He inhales sharply. And then, he tears himself away, turning his back to me as if losing control would destroy us both. Go, he whispers hoarsely, before I become something I cannot control. I flee the room, heart pounding, silence screaming inside me. And for the first time, I realize, the prince is not only cursed, he is breaking. And somehow, I am the crack in the curse. Chapter 4. The castle wakes before I do. A low hum vibrates through the stone, rattling the iron sconces and stirring dust from ancient corners. It feels almost like the castle itself is whispering warnings, quiet tremors that travel through the floors, up the walls, and settle beneath my ribs. Something is coming. Something awake. When I step into the hallway, the air shifts. Torches flare as I approach, then dim the moment I pass. Shadows dart behind me like frightened creatures, seeking shelter. I don't realize I'm being watched until the scent of crushed herbs fills the air. The sorceress appears from around the corner. Her robes are tattered, layered with charms that clink like bones. Her hair is silver, wild, twisted into braids strung with moonstones. Her eyes, pale as frostbite, fix on my throat first, then rise slowly to my face. Her expression sharpens. "So," she murmurs, voice like cracked ice. The silent one lives. Fear punches through me, sharp and immediate. She steps closer. Her presence is suffocating, like standing too near a frozen lake about to crack beneath your feet. Her fingers hover near my chin, never touching, but close enough that I feel the cold radiating from her skin. "Show me," she whispers. I shake my head. "Show you what?" I cannot speak. I cannot ask. My silence answers her anyway. Her lips curl into something between a smirk and a prophecy fulfilled. "Yes," she murmurs. "Your voice is gone. Truly gone.
Not stolen.
Not misplaced.
Bound. Bound."
The word strikes like lightning. I instinctively step back, bumping into the stone wall. The sorceress glides forward, pinning me with eyes that see far more than they should. "You are the root," she says. "The hinge. The quiet storm the curse foretold." I shake my head violently. Root of what? Hinge of what? Quiet storm? My thoughts are frantic, a trapped bird fluttering in a cage of bone and fear. The sorceress tilts her head, studying my panic with disturbing interest. "You do not know," she realizes softly. "He has not told you." Of course he hasn't told me.
He hasn't told me anything.
She leans even closer, her breath icy against my cheek. "You are not his prisoner," she whispers. "You are his prophecy." My lungs seize.
No.
No, that cannot be true. He captured me. He cursed me. He used me. The sorceress, as if reading my very thoughts, clicks her tongue. "Child," she says, "he did not choose you. The curse did." My knees weaken. Her eyes gleam with eerie certainty. "A silent one for a silenced king," she murmurs, her voice weaving through the corridor like dark silk. "When your voice died, his curse awakened." Awakened? My pulse thrashes wildly. She reaches out, fingers brushing my wrist, cold like water pulled from a winter river. "When your breath fell quiet," she whispers, "his fate changed."
Fate.
Destiny. Prophecy. Words I do not want to belong to. Before I can back away, before I can signal please stop, a deep voice cuts through the tension. "Leave her." The sorceress freezes. The prince stands only a few feet away, broad-shouldered, jaw clenched, cloak swirling around him like night-made flesh. His eyes are molten gold. Dangerous gold. He is angry. Not at me. At her. The sorceress bows her head without taking her gaze off me. "Your Majesty," she purrs, "I merely wish to confirm what the curse already revealed."
Leave.
His voice cracks the air like a whip. She glides backward, movements smooth as shadow, whispering as she goes. She is the hinge. Then she disappears into the corridor's gloom. Silence settles between the prince and me, heavy, trembling, fragile. He steps forward slowly, as if approaching a creature likely to bolt. "I told her to stay away from you," he mutters. I cannot answer. I cannot even breathe right. His eyes move to my throat, guilt flaring so violently it almost looks like pain. He closes the distance between us. "I didn't want you to learn this way," he says quietly. "You weren't ready." Not ready. As if I ever will be ready for the truth of what he's done to me. He looks toward the direction the sorceress left, hatred burning beneath his calm exterior. "She sees things," he mutters. "Too many things. And not all of them accurately." I stare at him, heart racing. If she is wrong, why did fear flash across his face when she spoke? If she is wrong, Why didn't he deny it? My silence feels heavier now, suffocating. He looks back at me, expression softening. I won't let her harm you, he murmurs. Or use you.
Use me.
The word hangs between us like smoke. His jaw tightens. She believes the curse binds my life to your silence.
A beat.
She is not entirely wrong. My breath stutters. He steps closer. Too close. So close I feel his warmth against my frozen skin. When I touched your throat that night, he says, voice low and strained. The curse chose you, not me. Each word sinks into me like a slow sinking stone. His eyes lock onto mine. And if you were to die, he swallows. So would I. The world tilts. I brace myself against the wall. I am bound to him.
Bound. Not by choice.
By magic older than kingdoms. Not a prisoner. A vessel. Not a captive. A prophecy. The prince lifts a hand, stopping inches from my cheek, as if afraid touch alone will shatter me. I didn't want you to know this yet, he whispers. I hoped, his voice falters, that I could keep you safe until I found a way to sever the bond. Sever.
Break.
Undo. But the sorceress said I was the hinge. The quiet storm. The root. How do you sever the root of a curse you were born to fulfill? I sink down against the wall, trembling. His eyes darken. He kneels in front of me.
Slowly. Carefully.
As though he fears the very floor beneath us might shatter. I know you want to leave, he says softly. I know you think I took your voice because I wanted power. His voice dips into something tortured. But the truth is far more cruel. Cruel. My chest tightens. He looks down, shoulders tensing, as if bracing for a blow. If I give your voice back, he whispers, I lose my soul. The words echo from last night. But now, spelled out with raw honesty, they carry deeper weight. My silence holds his life. My voice holds his death. He lifts his head, meeting my gaze with devastating vulnerability. I am trying to protect you from all of this, he says. But fate is rarely kind. Fate chose me. Fate bound me. Fate took my voice. I start to raise my hand, to signal something, anything, but before I can finish the gesture, his expression shifts. Sudden fear flashes in his eyes. He grabs my wrist, not harshly, but urgently. Do not make that sign, he says.
Sign?
What sign? I look down. 2 fingers on my chest.
Fear.
I was signaling fear. His grip trembles. You're afraid of me, he says quietly. I shake my head quickly.
No.
Not of him. Of this. Of destiny. Of curses. Of prophecy. Of being the hinge they all hinge on. He misreads my shaking. His eyes drop. His hand falls from my wrist. He stands abruptly. I don't want you afraid, he says. His voice is ragged, painful. I don't want this fate for you. His shadow stretches across the stone, long and monstrous. He turns away. Tonight, he murmurs, I transform again. My stomach tightens. He faces me once more, expression torn open with conflict. I need you not to come near me. Do you understand? I nod. His eyes linger on me for a heartbeat too long. Then something shudders through him, like a prelude to agony. The curse is already pulling at him. It begins early today, he mutters. Damn it. He grips the wall, breathing hard. He tries to speak again, but stops, voice choking on something unsaid. He leaves abruptly, running this time, cloak snapping behind him like fleeing shadow. The moment he disappears, the castle begins to tremble again. The curse is coming. Night falls fast. Faster than it ever has before. The torches blow out one by one as if snuffed by invisible hands. The runes along the walls pulse, with sickly gold light. Whispering voices curl beneath the door. Then, screaming. Not human. Not beast. Something between. Something breaking. Something dying. Something transforming. I cover my ears, but the noise still carves into me. Bone deep. Soul deep. Then, abruptly, silence. And something cold brushes against my door. A shadow. A claw. A breath. I hold my breath. Another sound rises. Not a roar. Not a howl. A whisper. My name. Spoken by something that has no right to speak it. Then, a heavy thud. A body. Collapsing against the base of my door. I choke on a silent gasp. He is there. In pain. In his monstrous form. Unable to control the curse. Unable to hide. Unable to leave. And he came to my door. Because even cursed, even monstrous, even trapped between forms, he seeks my silence. The curse didn't choose him. It chose me. And destiny is only beginning.
Chapter 5.
I don't sleep. Not after the thud against my door. Not after the scraping of claws on stone. Not after hearing my name from a throat that should not remember human language. I sit against the far wall, huddled beneath the small window slit, knees pulled to my chest. The castle is still trembling, faint but constant, like a heartbeat struggling against its own skeleton. A low growl rolls through the corridor outside, weak, ragged, pained. He is still there. The beast. The prince. Whatever he becomes when the moon rises. He hasn't moved since collapsing at my door. My heart cracks open. Not from fear. Not from pity. From something deeper, something that feels like a memory I shouldn't have. A connection I don't understand. I rise slowly, not daring to disturb the silence, and press one palm to the wood of the door. The wood thumps lightly beneath my touch, or maybe the creature on the other side shifts, sensing me. Another weak growl answers. He's in pain. Because of the curse. Because of himself. Because of me? I don't know. But I cannot stay still. I press my forehead gently against the door. A soft vibration pulses beneath it, the rhythm of something large breathing. Something wounded. Something waiting. Just when my fingers begin to tremble, a claw scrapes upward.
Slow.
Deliberate. A question, not a threat. I gasp silently. He is reaching for me. I flatten my hand to the door. Warmth bleeds through, faint but unmistakable. He goes still, completely still, as if my presence, my silent presence, is the only anchor he has left in this world. Minutes, maybe hours, pass like this. My hand on the door, his massive body pressed weakly against the other side, the moon crawling across the sky. Then, the trembling stops. His breath evens, and the castle falls quiet. When dawn arrives, so does a strange ache in my chest. Not fear, not dread, not relief. Something else. Something I shouldn't feel for a creature I barely know. When the shadows thin and faint footsteps approach, I yank my hand back. The door groans softly and the prince, human again, steps inside, his body visibly shaking. He looks ruined, exhausted, unraveled, like a man who drowned the night before and clawed his way back just to breathe one more morning. His eyes find mine immediately, and in them not anger, not coldness, not the commanding power he shows everyone else, just quiet devastation. You shouldn't have stayed near the door. His voice is low, frayed. I could have harmed you. I shake my head. I know I should signal I'm not afraid. But something in his face, something fragile, keeps me still. He drags a trembling hand through his hair, turning away as if the memory of his monstrous form disgusts him. You don't understand, he murmurs. The beast has no restraint, no reason, no loyalty. He swallows hard. And yet last night, he chose your door. My breath stutters. He turns again, taking a single step toward me.
Slow.
Measured. Almost reverent. His voice softens in a way I've never heard before. You calm him. He says it like a sin. Or a salvation. Maybe both. When he reaches out, he stops his hand inches from mine, waiting, unsure. A prince who commands armies, curses, and shadows, waiting for permission to touch me. I let my fingers lift, brushing the air near his. He inhales sharply. Then, with unbearable gentleness, he takes my hand. His thumb grazes my knuckles, slow circles, careful touches, tender in a way that feels impossibly intimate. You shouldn't soothe me, he whispers. I am not something meant to be soothed. But he doesn't release my hand. Not even when the shadows swirl beneath him. Not even when the castle hums in warning.
He holds on, carefully,
as though he's afraid my silence might slip from his grasp. When he steps back, his fingers trail along mine, slow, lingering, reluctant. Then he forces distance between us, fists clenching at his sides. I cannot be near you long, he says quietly. The beast reacts to you. You draw him. Draw him. The words sink into me like warmth soaking into frost. Why me? What binds us? What ancient fate does my silence carry? He watches my expression shift and exhales softly. You're thinking too loudly, he murmurs. My pulse spikes. He steps closer again, one step, not two, as though he is fighting himself every inch of the way. I can't hear your worry, he says. Not your voice, but your breath. Your heartbeat. The way fear rises in you. My cheeks burn. He notices. His eyes soften. And suddenly, the deadly, terrifying prince looks almost
human.
He moves to the table where servants have left water and bread. His steps are slow, as though each movement reminds him of the beast he was only hours before. Eat, he murmurs, not as a command this time, but something like concern. I do. Not because he orders it. Because he's watching me with a gaze heavy enough to warm stone. His attention lingers on my lips as I eat. Not with hunger, something deeper, more dangerous. Longing. When I finish, he gestures for me to stand. We will walk, he says. There are parts of the castle, you must know. Parts safe for you. Parts not. The castle responds to him, opening hallways, dimming torches, moving shadows aside. He keeps a measured distance between us, but every time I stumble or pause, he reacts instantly. Eyes sharp, body tensing as though preparing to shield me from a threat only he can sense. We enter a hidden courtyard. A garden glowing faintly with moonlight even though the sun is high. The air smells like silver and crushed lavender. Trees drip with starlit flowers that sway even without wind. I gasp silently. He watches my expression like it is the rarest thing in the room. I haven't brought anyone here in centuries, he says quietly. This place is sacred. I freeze. Sacred? Why bring me? He steps closer, close enough that the warmth of his body brushes my arm like a whisper. I don't know why the curse chose you, he admits. But I cannot deny what it has done. He lifts a hand toward my throat, fingers trembling. Then he stops, hovering, not touching. Your silence, he whispers, is the only thing that quiets the noise inside my head. Something flutters inside me. Something dangerous. I lift my hand, tapping my fingers against my chest twice. 2 taps.
Fear.
His expression collapses. You fear me. I shake my head hard. No, not fear of him. Fear of this, of destiny, of being bound to him in a way neither of us chose. But he misunderstands again. He steps back, pain flashing through his features with startling honesty. I told you not to get close to me, he murmurs. But I am the fool who keeps walking toward you. I take 1 step forward. His body stiffens. You shouldn't, he warns. I take another. He exhales, shaky, broken. The space between us crackles. His hand lifts, slow, hesitant, fingers trembling like he is touching fate itself. He cups the side of my face. His thumb sweeps across my cheek with unbearable softness. You make me forget the curse, he whispers. My breath catches. His gaze drops to my lips. Not possessive. Not demanding. Just aching. For a moment, he leans in, forehead lowering toward mine as though gravity itself pulls him closer. Then, he rips himself backward. No, the word sounds like it tears out of him. He turns away, voice raw. I cannot want this. Not when wanting you puts you in danger. My heart stutters. He grips the stone railing, so hard cracks form beneath his fingers. I brought you here to understand the curse, he says. Not to give you false hope. False hope? My chest tightens. He turns back to me, Slowly, painfully, eyes full of emotion he refuses to name. You must not mistake my gentleness for safety, he says. I am not safe. My kingdom is not safe. And you, he stops, voice shaking. You are the most dangerous thing in my life. I freeze. Dangerous? Why would I be dangerous? He steps closer, close enough that his breath warms the air between us. Because, he whispers, you make me question the curse, the prophecy, myself, everything. His hand lifts again, hovering in the air between us, yearning, but not touching. And that terrifies me. The air breaks. He tears himself away once more, breathing hard. We must end this for today, he says. Before I cross a line I cannot uncross. He walks away. But then, he stops at the archway, turns, and his voice cracks open. But I cannot stop wanting to stay. He vanishes into the corridor, and I am left alone in the sacred garden, breathing air that smells like him and moonlight and danger and destiny. A place he hasn't brought anyone in centuries. A place he brought me. A place where, for the first time, I felt the beast's longing and the man's. And I realize, he is falling.
Slowly.
Quietly. Against his will.
He is falling for me.
And somewhere deep inside, I am falling too. Chapter 6. The castle feels different tonight. Not alive. Not whispering. Not breathing with the same eerie rhythm as before. Tonight it feels afraid. Shadows cling to corners like they're hiding from something. Torches burn low, their flames quivering against stone. Even the ever-humming magic in the halls seems to shrink away, as if bracing for a storm the walls cannot withstand. I feel it before I understand it. Something is terribly wrong. The door to my chamber unlocks suddenly. Not slowly, not with the usual hesitation, but violently, urgently. The prince's guards rush inside. Their heavy boots shake the floor. Their armor glints harshly in the torchlight. Their expressions are grim, tense, afraid in a way I've never seen before. One gestures sharply for me to stand. The prince summons you. His tone is clipped, rushed. Not respectful, not cold, not neutral. Frightened. My stomach twists. Why frightened? Was the curse worsening? Was the beast stirring too early? Was the bond between us unraveling? Or was something else, something worse, moving through the castle? The guard grabs my arm when I hesitate. Not cruelly, but urgently, dragging me through the corridors as the shadows twist violently along the stone. We stop before massive double doors carved with the kingdom's emblem. The throne room. The place he brings no one. The place forbidden to everyone except the council. The guard shoves the doors open. And there he is. The prince. Standing before the council. Standing before his people. Standing in the same room where centuries of kings have ruled and fallen. But he doesn't look like the man who held my face in the sacred garden. He doesn't look like the broken prince who collapsed outside my door in beast form. He looks like a king wearing a mask made of iron. Cold. Unreachable. Emotionless. His golden eyes flick to me. No warmth. No longing. No regret. Nothing. My heart stutters painfully. The council members bow as I'm pushed forward, whispering urgently. Is that her? She's the one. She must be sacrificed. Before the next moon. Before the curse consumes us all. Sacrifice. The word hits me like a blade. My pulse quickens. The prince lifts a hand. Silence drops like a guillotine. When he speaks, his voice is sharp with authority, calculated, rehearsed, void of emotion.
Yes.
This is the silent one. The guard behind me releases my arm. I stagger. He called me that. In front of them. In front of the kingdom. Like I'm nothing more than a prophecy. A title. An object. He keeps going. She carries the bond. The old magic has chosen her. You were right. The council nods, satisfied. A cold roar of confusion tears silently through me. He told me I was not a prisoner. He told me he wanted to protect me. He told me he didn't want me to fear him. He told me too many things. And now, he's agreeing with them? Siding with them? Sacrificing me? One of the council elders steps forward. Then you accept the decree, Your Majesty? The silent one must be surrendered to the ritual before the moon sets. My lips part.
No. No. No.
The prince's jaw tightens. His gaze flickers, just for a moment, toward my trembling hands. Something in his expression cracks. Just a little, but enough for me to see it.
Pain.
Real pain. This isn't easy for him. This isn't simple. This isn't what he wants. But he forces the emotion down like swallowing poison. His voice emerges cold, deadly calm, king-like again. I accept. My entire world shatters. It happens quietly. No scream. No cry. No words. Just a silent implosion. My legs weaken. I stumble backward, shaking my head over and over, the silent pleas tearing through my chest like jagged glass. He watches. He doesn't look away. He looks at me like a man watching his own execution. But he still says nothing. The council chants approvingly.
Good.
She will be prepared immediately.
Prepared.
Prepared for what?
Death.
Sacrifice? Some ritual that kills me and saves them? My breath comes in sharp, panicked bursts. No sound. No voice. No escape. I'm drowning in a sea of silent terror. The prince's hands curl into fists so tight blood begins to drip from between his fingers. He stops one of the council members with a sharp command. No one touches her. The room freezes. He steps down from the throne, every movement controlled fury, and stands before me. Close enough to feel breath against my cheeks. Close enough to notice the tremor in his hands. Close enough to see the emotion he hides from everyone but cannot hide from me.
He leans in.
Whispers in a voice no one else can hear. Run. My body jolts. His eyes burn into mine, gold and molten, fierce with desperation. Tonight, he breathes. You must run. My pulse crashes.
Why?
What is he planning? Go with the servant at dusk, he murmurs. Do not look back. Do not come find me. Do not return. Do not return. My heart breaks, so sharply I feel it physically. He straightens before anyone can notice the intimacy of the moment. Then, he gestures to the guards. Take her back to her chamber. They obey. Rough hands grab my arms. I twist, silently crying out, reaching for him. He doesn't move. He watches me dragged away with a face carved from stone. But his eyes look like a man shattering. They lock me in my room. The moment the door shuts, I crumble to my knees. I press shaking fingers to my chest, 3 taps.
Pain.
Not physical. Emotional. A wound deeper than any blade could cut.
Why?
Why is he doing this? Why tell them he accepts my death? Why ask me to run? Why betray me in front of them, but save me in private? I pace the room, clawing silently at my throat. My breaths are broken. My chest aches with betrayal. Images flash through my mind, his hand touching my cheek, his voice saying I calm him, his body collapsing outside my door, his longing in the sacred garden, his trembling gentleness, his whispered desperation, all of it now shattered. Or was it? Because his whisper haunts me. Run tonight. Do not come back. It wasn't betrayal. It was protection.
He had to lie.
He had to agree. He had to act like a king. Like a monster. Like someone who could sacrifice me. Because the council was watching. Because someone else was watching. Because something worse than him wanted me dead. I realized suddenly. He didn't betray me. He became the villain to save me. My chest tightens, painfully. If I run, I live. But if I run, he dies. Because our bond is one life for another.
He knows that.
He told me. And still, he told me to run. Tears burn my eyes. Dusk comes fast. Footsteps whisper outside my door. The servant who brought me food earlier slips inside, eyes frantic. We must go, she whispers.
Now.
If they find you here after nightfall, they will. She falters. I know the rest.
Kill me.
Break the curse with my blood. Use me for the ritual. The corridors are empty as she leads me toward a hidden exit, but the castle feels wrong. Too dark.
Too still.
Too watchful. The shadows scream. The walls tremble. The air tastes like magic preparing to snap. And then,
A roar. Deep.
violent. Monstrous. The prince. The curse has taken him early. The servant shoves me forward. Run. I sprint into the forest, the cold night air slapping my skin, my lungs burning with fear. Branches whip my face. Roots tear at my ankles. Shadows chase me, whispering my name. My heart thunders silently. Then, another sound splits the night. A howl. Not angry. Not hunting.
Calling.
Calling me. The beast is coming.
The curse has found me.
The prince is losing himself. Because I am leaving. I stumble, collapsing near the riverbank, breathless and trembling. I look back at the glowing castle in the distance. The truth hits me like a blow. He didn't betray me. He sacrificed himself.
For me.
For my life. For my freedom. For my silence. My chest collapses under the weight of it. Before I can catch my breath, the shadows around me whisper. The third silent one has returned. The prophecy. The omen. The truth. And everything goes dark. Chapter 7. Cold water slaps my skin. I gasp, silently, jerking awake as the river's icy current pulls at my clothes and hair. For a moment, I don't know where I am. The world swims in gray and blue, mist rising from the forest like breath from a sleeping giant. Then the pain returns, sharp, bruising, alive. My legs ache from running. My throat burns from silence. My chest trembles from heartbreak. The memory hits me with brutal clarity. The throne room. His cold acceptance. His whispered plea.
Run.
The beasts roar behind me. The shadows screaming the prophecy. The third silent one has returned. The phrase coils through my mind like a venomous serpent. Third? Returned? What does that mean? Who are the first two? And why does this kingdom want me dead for it? I drag myself out of the water, shivering violently. Mud sticks to my palms. My breath fogs the air, though I cannot hear its sound. The forest is too quiet. No wind. No birds. No beasts roar. Only the distant, echoing pulse of magic, like the heartbeat of something ancient and waiting. I stand shakily, scanning the trees. Nothing moves. But I am not alone. A twig snaps behind me. I spin, too late. A figure lunges from the shadows, tackling me into the mud. Cold metal presses against my throat, not hurting, but threatening. His breath is hot against my cheek. Don't struggle, he growls. You'll only make it worse. Another man emerges from behind a tree, wiping a blade on his sleeve. Is that her, he asks. The silent one? Look at her throat. The first mutters. The mark is gone. Her voice is sealed. They study me like hunters examining prey. My pulse skyrockets. Assassins. Sent for me.
By who?
The council? The prophecy? The curse itself? The second man crouches, gripping my chin roughly. She looks too innocent, he mutters. Hard to believe. She carries the curse. Doesn't matter. A silent one breathes. The kingdom rots. Kill her, and the curse strengthens. We all live. Kill her. The words slice through me. I claw at his arm, trying to scream, trying to fight, but my voice betrays me. Silence fills the clearing, heavy and hopeless. The first man lifts his blade. Sorry, girl. This is mercy.
No. No.
No. My heart thrashes against my ribs. I twist violently, my hand slamming against the man's chest right as the blade descends. A shockwave erupts. Not magic I understand. Magic that feels like moonlight and storms and a memory older than bone. Both men are hurled backward, crashing into separate trees with sickening thuds. I stagger away, panting soundlessly, staring at my trembling hand. What did I just do? Before I can process it, one of the assassins drags himself upright, clutching his bleeding chest. You, he groans, pointing a shaking finger at me. You are Lyria reborn. Lyria? The name slams into me like a blow. He coughs, blood spilling from his mouth. The Moon Priestess, the one who cursed the king, the one he loved. My breath freezes. Loved? Cursed? Reborn? He wheezes, gasping for air. He will always find you, he chokes out. In every lifetime. In every silence. His body crumples. He dies at my feet. My knees buckle. I drop beside him, digging trembling fingers into the dirt, trying to ground myself, trying to breathe through the suffocating, world-shifting truth spilling through my mind. Lyria. Moon Priestess.
His past.
My past? Reborn?
No.
No. This cannot be real. I stumble backward, shaking my head. But the assassin's last words coil around my soul like a chain. He will always find you. A branch cracks. I whirl around. Another assassin?
No.
A familiar voice whispers from the shadows. Come with me. I turn. The servant. The one who helped me escape. She looks terrified. More terrified than before. She grabs my wrist and pulls me deeper into the trees. We don't have much time, she whispers. They'll send more. You need to move. Her grip is firm, guiding me through roots and dark foliage until we reach a hollowed-out ruin, an ancient stone shrine overgrown with vines. She drags me inside. Moonlight pours through a broken roof, illuminating a fractured mural on the wall. I freeze. It's a painting, faded, cracked, ancient, but the image still clear. A woman. A priestess.
Tall.
Radiant. Clad in moonlight. Her face. My face. My body goes numb. The servant sees my expression and swallows hard. You asked who the first silent one was, she whispers. She points to the mural. Her. The air leaves my lungs. And the second? I manage to mouth silently. She points to a different, shattered section, another figure, kneeling, bound by chains of shadow. The king, she whispers. Before he was cursed. Before he became the beast.
No. No.
No, this cannot be real. But the mural speaks louder than any voice. The servant steps closer, voice trembling. You are not just the silent one. You are Lyria's reincarnation. The moon priestess who loved him. And doomed him. I stagger, gripping the wall to stay upright. Doomed him. Loved him. The words cut deeper than blades. He remembers pieces, she continues. He doesn't know why he feels drawn to you. Why you calm him. Why the curse reacts to you. I close my eyes. My pulse is a hurricane. The prince's words echo in my skull. Do not mistake my gentleness for safety. You make me forget the curse. I cannot stop wanting to stay. He didn't know. He didn't understand. But his soul remembered. The servant steps closer, voice urgent. The kingdom wants you dead, because your return means the prophecy begins again. I shake my head wildly. I never wanted this. I never wanted any of this. But the curse, she whispers, wants you alive. Because only the silent one can end it. My heartbeat pounds silently against my ribs. End it?
How?
By returning your voice, she says. Or by destroying him. My stomach churns violently. Destroy him? The prince? The man who held my hand with trembling restraint? The beast who collapsed outside my door like a dying guardian? The king who played the villain to save me?
No. No.
I shake my head so hard my hair whips across my face. I know, she whispers gently. I know it hurts. Lyria loved him once too. My breath stutters. My legs give out. I sink to the floor, hands trembling uncontrollably. Because I know something she doesn't. Something the prince will never admit. Something only his eyes revealed. I am already falling. Falling for a cursed prince. Falling for a man trapped in a beast. Falling toward a prophecy I never wanted. And fate, cruel and ancient, is laughing. Suddenly, a deep rumble shakes the shrine. The servant's eyes widen. They found us, she whispers. She grabs my hand. We must go. But it's too late. A shadow leaps through the doorway. A massive shape, golden eyes blazing, chest heaving, claws carving furrows into the stone.
The beast.
The prince. He found me, not as a man, as a monster. But when his eyes lock on mine, he stops. The growl dies in his throat. The shadows around him still. The curse itself freezes. He takes one step forward, then another.
Slow.
Careful, as if approaching a memory, as if approaching me. The servant drags me backward.
No.
He's not himself, but he is, in the only way that matters. Because the beast, the cursed creature, the monster the kingdom fears, lowers itself before me, kneels, like a king before his queen, like a lover before a memory, like a soul bowing to the only silence it has ever obeyed. My breath shatters. My heart breaks. The servant gasps behind me. And I understand the truth. The kingdom may want me dead. The assassins may want me gone. The prophecy may want me to choose between voice and death. But him? He wants only one thing. Me alive. Even as a beast. Even cursed. Even doomed. He chose me. Again. And again. Across lifetimes. Across silences. Across fate. The beast bows lower. And softly, impossibly, from a throat torn by magic and suffering, he whispers my name. Chapter 8. The beast kneels. Not as a monster submitting to power, but as something ancient recognizing something older. His massive form lowers until his head nearly touches the dirt, claws sinking deep into the shattered stone beneath us. The golden glow in his eyes softens, flickering like candlelight in a storm. He is not bowing to fear. He is bowing to me. The moonlight catches the sharp ridges of his spine, the steam rising from his breath, the tremble in his shoulders as if he's holding back the darkness inside him by sheer will. The servant behind me gasps. No, she whispers. He shouldn't, he can't. She doesn't understand. I take a shaky step forward. The beast's ears twitch. His eyes lock onto mine. He lets out a low, rumbling sound. Not a threat. A plea. My heart squeezes painfully.
He remembers me.
Even like this. Even cursed. Even monstrous. Somewhere beneath the claws and fangs and ancient magic tearing his soul apart, the prince is still there. Still reaching for me. Still choosing me. The servant grabs my wrist. Don't, she hisses.
Please.
The curse reacts to you. He reacts to you if he loses control. But she doesn't know what I know. She didn't stand at my door while he collapsed against it. She didn't feel his breath tremble as he knelt in my silence. She didn't see the way the man looked at me, like I was the last piece of humanity he had left. I pull my hand free. The servant pales. You'll die. Maybe. But something in me, something deep, ancient, moves my feet forward anyway. I step toward him. His head lifts a fraction, watching me with a trembling intensity that breaks something inside me. The world narrows. No forest. No shrine. No assassins. No prophecy. Just him.
And me.
And the unbearable truth that our souls recognize each other long before our minds do. I reach out my hand. The beast inches closer.
Slow.
Painfully slow. As if afraid a single wrong movement will shatter whatever fragile bond ties us. When my fingertips brush his fur, a shockwave of magic erupts. Not violent. Not painful.
Warm.
Like moonlight condensed into touch. It surges from my hand into his body, rippling along his spine. He shudders, releasing a sound so heartbreakingly human it steals the breath from my lungs. His massive form lowers again until his forehead presses gently, reverently, against my palm. The servant stumbles backward. Impossible, she whispers. Only Lyria could control him like this. Lyria.
Me. Not me.
A past life echoing through my bones. I swallow hard, emotions tangled in a knot I can't loosen. The beast inhales deeply, scenting me, grounding himself in my presence. His chest rises and falls in slow, controlled breaths. He is calming. Because of me. Again. My silence, the silence he stole, becomes the very thing that steadies him. His glowing eyes soften. He nudges my hand with his head. A gesture that feels like apology, like devotion, like recognition. Something in my chest breaks open in painful understanding. He never wanted to hurt me, never wanted to curse me, never wanted to bind my voice to his life. He wants to protect me, even like this, even cursed, even doomed. The beast suddenly stiffens. His ears flick backward. A deep growl forms in his throat. The shadows tremble around us. The servant grabs my arm. They're coming, she whispers. The hunters. The council. They followed us. The beast swings his massive body toward the forest, positioning himself between me and the danger.
Protecting me.
Again. But the growl deepens, turning into a snarl that shakes the ground. Something else approaches. Not the council. Not assassins. Something worse. A dark shape materializes from the trees. A woman, wrapped in tattered robes. Hair silver and wild. Eyes like frozen moons. The sorceress. She steps into the light of the broken shrine, her gaze flicking from me to the beast with unsettling calm. I knew you'd come here, she says.
To her.
The beast snarls. She raises a hand, unimpressed. Yes, yes. Rage all you want. I know what you are. And I know what she is. The servant steps protectively in front of me, but the sorceress only laughs. A mortal cannot shield a prophecy, child. She turns her full attention on me. You've begun awakening. My skin prickles. Awakening? To what?
Why?
She circles me slowly, the way a scholar circles a relic long thought lost. Your silence is no longer just absence, she murmurs. It's power. I flinch. She smiles in satisfaction. You felt it earlier, didn't you? When you threw those assassins without touching them. My breath catches. She leans in, voice low and cold. That was not an accident. That was your magic waking up. Magic. My magic. The words feel foreign on my skin, but something inside me knows she's right. Something ancient. Something moonlit. Something dangerous. The sorceress straightens, her expression sharpening. You are Lyria reborn. Priestess of the moon. Keeper of the silent thread. She points at the beast. And his fate is tied to yours. As it was before. As it will be, until one of you breaks the bond.
Breaks.
Breaking the bond means my voice returning, or his soul dying, or both. I shake my head violently.
No. No. No.
The beast snarls again, stepping protectively closer, his body glowing faintly with gold. The sorceress sighs. Always so loyal, even as a monster. She lifts her staff. The ground trembles. Magic crackles. The beast braces himself. She points the staff at me. But loyalty means nothing if the girl does not understand the truth. Energy bursts from the staff, but the beast leaps in front of me, taking the full force of the attack. He roars, a sound that shakes the trees, the stones, the sky. The blast sends him crashing into the shrine wall. No! I scream silently, reaching for him. And something inside me snaps. Light erupts from my fingers. White gold. Cold as moonlight. Sharp as prophecy. The sorceress stumbles back, hissing. The servant shields her face. The forest bends away from the force. My silence becomes soundless power, a ripple of energy that pushes everything back except him. He lifts his head weakly, golden eyes meeting mine. Not the beast's eyes. Not fully. Something human stirs in them. He drags his body forward, desperate to reach me despite the pain, despite the attack, despite the curse tearing at him. The sorceress watches, breathless. He remembers, she whispers. Even like this. The beast collapses at my feet, trembling violently. I fall to my knees, pressing my hands to his face. Don't, the sorceress warns. When he shifts this violently. But it's too late. Magic surges beneath my palms, not mine. His. The curse flares. His body twists, claws retracting, bones shifting, fur dissolving into skin. He convulses violently, growling, gasping, choking on his transformation. I cradle his face, ignoring the sorceress's shouts, ignoring the servant's screams, ignoring the world collapsing around us. His eyes flutter open, human, golden, pain-filled, and focused entirely on me. His voice breaks out in a shattered whisper. "Don't cry." My breath catches. I didn't realize tears were streaming down my face. He tries to lift a hand to wipe them, but collapses instead. I catch him. His head rests against my chest, trembling. He breathes my scent in like a dying man inhaling life. And in that broken breath, that shattered moment, that fragile almost confession, the sorceress speaks truth like a curse. "You see? This is why the kingdom fears you." I look up. Her eyes burn with cruel certainty. "Because your silence," she says, "is the only weapon strong enough to break him." My heart stops. Break him?
No. No.
But she continues, relentless. "You alone can end the curse." Her gaze sharpens. "But doing so will kill the prince." The world stops. The forest. The shrine. My breath. His trembling pulse beneath my hands. Everything freezes. The sorceress lifts her staff. And if he dies, the beast dies. The prince weakly lifts his head, eyes meeting mine with devastating softness. He knows. He has always known. He whispers, voice breaking. "Don't choose me." My soul cracks. He collapses again, breathing hard. The sorceress steps forward. "Choose the kingdom," she says. "Or choose him. You cannot save both." The beast stirs faintly inside him. The man trembles in my arms. My silence becomes a scream the world cannot hear. And destiny whispers, "Choose." Chapter 9. The world tilts beneath my feet. Not metaphorically. The ground truly shifts, stones trembling, roots swelling, air crackling with violent magic as the prince collapses in my arms at the ruined shrine. His body shakes uncontrollably, caught between human and beast, torn in a way that should not be survivable. I hold him tighter. His breath warms my collarbone for one fragile second, then fades. Evaporates. He is slipping. Not just from consciousness, from existence. The sorceress watches with a cold, eerie calm. "This is what love does to cursed men," she murmurs. "It destroys them." My throat stings, silent sobs clawing against the flesh that can no longer produce sound. The prince stirs faintly, golden eyes flickering open. He sees my tears, his expression softens, breaks, and he tries to lift a hand to my cheek. It falls uselessly halfway. "Don't cry," he whispers, barely audible. "I'm not worth your tears."
How dare he say that?
After everything? After saving me? After choosing me again and again? Even when fate demanded, he abandoned me. My tears fall harder, hot, silent, relentless. He closes his eyes as if the sight of them hurts more than any curse. The sorceress steps forward. "It's time," she says. "The kingdom must see." The beast in him stirs at her tone, a warning growl deep in his chest, but he is too weak to rise. The servant gasps. "You can't, he's dying." The sorceress ignores her completely. "The prophecy demands a witness," she says. "A revelation. A decision." Magic coils around us, pulling at my skin, dragging the world into a spiral of darkness and cold. I cling to him, terrified he will disappear in the blur of light and shadows. But the sorceress snaps her staff downward. The world splits open. Wind roars. Light fractures. Magic tears through the air like a storm. And suddenly, we are no longer in the forest. We're standing on the balcony of the obsidian castle, the highest point in the kingdom. Below us, thousands of citizens fill the courtyard.
Guards.
Nobles. Council members. Servants. Wolves. All staring upward as the cursed prince bleeds in my arms. A cry rises from the crowd. The silent one. The prophecy. The beast has fallen. The council pushes forward, fury and fear twisting their faces. "Your Majesty," one shouts. "You must step away from her. She weakens you. She is the cause of your suffering. Release her to the ritual. Sacrifice her before the moon sets." The prince forces his eyes open, choking on air, barely breathing. But he sees the crowd. He sees the council. He sees the prophecy tightening its chains. And in one broken, impossible moment, he rises. His body shakes violently. His knees threaten to buckle. His claws begin to form again. But he stands. For me. Against them. He steps forward, leaning heavily on the balcony rail, dragging me with him. Gasps rise from the courtyard. Golden light flickers through his veins. Dangerous, unstable, deadly. But he lifts his chin with the authority of a king who refuses to die quietly. "This woman," he growls, voice shaking with power and pain, "is not a threat." The council recoils. "Your Majesty." He cuts them down with a single glare. "She is not a sacrifice," he says, louder now, louder than the wind and the crowd and the curse trying to tear him apart. "She is not a curse. She is not a weapon." He turns slowly, painfully, and looks at me. The entire kingdom watches. "She," he whispers, "is the one thing that has ever kept me alive." My breath catches. The crowd murmurs in shock. The prince straightens, his cloak whipping around him, golden fire crackling beneath his skin. The curse senses defiance. It roars within him, trying to break free. The beast claws at the inside of his ribs. But he pushes through it. He stands tall. He stands proud. He stands with me. The council steps forward as one, shouting, "You defy the prophecy. You endanger the kingdom. You choose her over us all." The prince slams his palm against the balcony, cracking the obsidian stone. "I choose the truth," he snarls. "And the truth is this." He pulls me closer, one arm around my waist, protecting me from the angry magic swirling around us. "She is my mate." The courtyard explodes in gasps. The council freezes. The sorceress closes her eyes, knowing what this declaration will unleash. My heart stops.
Mate, mate, mate.
The word rings through me like a bell, like remembering something from 1,000 years ago. The curse surges. The beast screams inside him. His body convulses. He chokes, falling to one knee, but he doesn't let go of me. I drop beside him, gripping his face between my hands. He looks at me, vision blurring, golden eyes dimming as the curse fights to claim him. "You mustn't cry," he whispers, voice breaking. "If you cry, I break." I shake my head violently, tears falling harder. He smiles weakly, the saddest smile I've ever seen. "Then let me break," he whispers. "Let me break for you." Magic erupts around us. The council screams. Citizens fall to their knees. The moon turns blood red. The sorceress steps forward, raising her staff. "It is time," she cries. The silent one must return her voice. My breath stops. Return my voice. Means he dies. Means the curse ends. Means the beast is destroyed. Means the kingdom is saved. Means I lose him. His hand trembles against my cheek. "Do it," he whispers.
No, no.
I shake my head violently. Tears spill over my fingers. His thumb brushes my chin, slow, tender, final. "I am already dying," he murmurs. "Let it be for something. Let it be for you." I let out a silent sob. He leans forward, resting his forehead against mine. "Please," he breathes.
Speak.
The moon pulses. The curse cracks. The world waits for my decision. And I decide. I will not let him die as a monster. I will not let him die unloved. I press my hand to his heart, where the bond pulses, where his life and mine are tangled like threads. He gasps, not from pain, from recognition. Moonlight gathers around us, spiraling upward like silver fire. The sorceress shouts incantations. The council shields their faces. The kingdom screams. I inhale. For the first time since he stole it, I use my voice. And it explodes out of me like lightning. A scream. A cry. A word. A name. His name. The sound hits him like a tidal wave. Light shatters across his skin. The beast howls and tears away. The curse screams and splits apart. Magic floods the kingdom in a blinding surge of silver. He collapses. Silent.
Still.
Unmoving. I fall over him, sobbing soundlessly. My voice returned but caught in shock, trembling against lips that barely remember how to speak. His chest doesn't rise. His pulse doesn't move. His eyes do not open. The courtyard falls completely silent. The sorceress lowers her staff, voice hollow. It is done. The curse is broken. The beast is dead. And the prince I loved in silence, lies lifeless in my arms. Tears stream down my face. A drop falls onto his bare chest, silver in the moonlight. Another, and another. Magic stirs beneath my fingertips. Silver light spreads through him, from my tears, into his skin, into his heart, into his soul. The courtyard gasps. His fingers twitch. His eyes, those beautiful golden eyes, open slowly. Human.
Alive.
No curse. No beast. Just him. Reborn. He exhales a trembling breath and whispers, voice cracking. You spoke. I sob audibly this time, throwing my arms around him. He holds me with a strength born from resurrection. The sorceress bows her head. The crowd kneels. And for the first time, the kingdom sees him. Not as a monster, not as a curse, but as a king reborn by love. Chapter 10. The world glows silver. Not harshly, not violently.
Softly.
Warmly. The way moonlight glows when it finally forgives the earth. I cling to him, my breath falling unevenly, my heart still thrashing with leftover terror and overwhelming relief. He is alive. He is warm. His arms, once claws, once chains, once trembling restraints, now wrap around me with a strength that feels entirely human. Entirely his. No curse. No beast. No magic twisting him into agony. Just him. The prince. The man. The one fate kept tying to me again and again through lifetimes, curses, and silences. He pulls back slowly, as if afraid I might vanish if he stops touching me. His golden eyes, now warm instead of glowing, search my face as though memorizing every second of my existence. You, he breathes, voice trembling. You saved me. My lips part. My voice, newly returned, quivers like a fragile bird learning to fly again. I couldn't lose you, I whisper. The words shake.
So do I.
He freezes. Those 4 syllables break something open in him, something he spent centuries burying beneath armor and curses and duty. He lifts a hand to my face, fingers trembling as they brush my cheek. My skin tingles beneath his touch. I heard your voice, he whispers, almost in awe. For the first time, and the last thing I wanted was to die. My breath catches. He leans his forehead against mine, closing his eyes, inhaling the sound of my breathing like it's the most precious music he's ever known. Below us, the kingdom stands frozen in reverent silence. Thousands kneel. The council trembles. The sorceress bows her head. Even the wolves lower themselves in respect. The curse is broken. The prophecy fulfilled. The bond rewritten. He finally steps away from me, not far, never far, but enough to turn toward his people. His voice rises, full and powerful, no longer strained by the beast. People of the moonlit court, he declares, your king returns to you free. A roar of astonished, joyful cries bursts from below. He raises a hand, and the kingdom quiets instantly. He turns, reaching for my hand. My heart leaps as his fingers lace with mine, tender, certain, deliberate. And she, he continues, voice softening in a way the crowd feels like an ache, is the woman who broke my curse. My salvation. My heart's chosen. The courtyard gasps. He lifts our joined hands high, letting moonlight spill over our skin. The whole kingdom sees. She is not the silent one, he says firmly. She is my queen. My breath stutters. His queen. The words settle into my bones like destiny clicking into place. The sorceress steps forward slowly, staff lowered in surrender. The prophecy is fulfilled, she declares. The Silent One has spoken. The beast is gone. The bond is rewritten. She kneels. The entire courtyard kneels with her, thousands of bodies bowing before the man reborn and the woman fate brought back to him. My chest trembles. I whisper, voice fragile. They're bowing. He looks at me with a softness that breaks every boundary I once held around my heart. They bow, he murmurs, because you saved them. Saved them. Saved him. My throat tightens. No curse binds his soul to my silence anymore. No prophecy demands my sacrifice. No destiny forces him to choose kingdom or love. He lifts my chin gently. No one will steal your voice again, he whispers. Not even fate. I swallow hard. And then, he kisses me.
Slow, soft,
Tender. Powerful. A kiss that feels like centuries of longing finally being granted release. The courtyard erupts in cheers, loud, wild, emotional. But I barely hear anything except his heartbeat beneath my palms. When he pulls away, breath mingling with mine, golden eyes burning with devotion, he whispers against my lips. You choose me now. Freely. I nod, tears pooling again. I choose you, I whisper. Not because fate tied us. Because I want you. I want this. I want us. He exhales shakily, pulling me tight against his chest. And for the first time in centuries, he laughs, a soft, disbelieving sound filled with warmth. You have no idea what those words do to me, he murmurs. He brushes a thumb across my lips. And your voice, his eyes darken with reverence. Your voice is the most beautiful thing I've ever heard. I blush. His fingers slide to the hollow of my throat, where the ache of the curse once lived. He presses a soft kiss there. I'll spend the rest of my life making up for the day I stole this from you. A tremor runs through me. And I'll spend mine choosing you again, I whisper back. He closes his eyes, overwhelmed. When he opens them again, determination burns within them. Come, he says softly. There is one last thing I must do. He leads me down the balcony steps and through the courtyard. People reach out, not to grab, not to question, but to touch the hem of my dress, to whisper blessings, to thank me. We enter the grand hall. Moonlight seeps through the stained glass windows, painting the floor in shimmering arcs of silver and blue. He walks toward the throne. And then, he stops. He turns to me. My heart pounds. Slowly, deliberately. He kneels. My breath catches. I was born a king, he says softly. Cursed into a beast. Saved by a woman whose voice I didn't deserve. His eyes burn into mine. But for the rest of my life, however long or short it may be, I will kneel only to you. Tears blur my vision. He takes my hand. Will you rule beside me? Not as prophecy. Not as sacrifice. Not as curse. His thumb strokes my palm, but as my equal. My partner. My heart. Emotion crashes over me. My voice trembles. Yes, I whisper. 1,000 times yes. He rises, lifting my hand to his lips. The kingdom erupts in applause. And that night, we are crowned together. Not beast and silent one. Not curse and prophecy. Not fate and victim. But king and queen. Bonded not by silence, but by choice. By love. By destiny rewritten. The people chant our names. The moon glows with approval. The kingdom breathes freely for the first time in centuries. He leans down, kissing me softly, reverently, undeniably ours. And in a final whisper filled with love, devotion, and promise, I say, he took my voice, but in my silence, I found the love that saved us both. Please subscribe to the channel right now. Your support helps me create more magical love stories. More cursed princes. More forbidden mates, more destiny-driven romances. More emotional fantasy epics. Subscribe now so you never miss another story.